Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I get a number of questions along the lines of, what about snakes, poisonous snakes? What about bugs? One woman just wrote one sentence, what about the bugs? And others concerned about, is there a lot of malaria and mosquitoes and so forth? This sort of thing. And in a nutshell, no, these are not serious problems here at all. There are tens of thousands of expats here, 4 million Panamanians. If these were problems, we would definitely know about it. It would definitely be a matter of discussion, and you wouldn't be able to read about Panama without reading about these problems. I've certainly seen them right up front in other countries that I've traveled in Africa, but also up in Central America and the Caribbean. So I know that the problem exists, but I have not seen it at all here myself in Panama. I don't know a single person or have heard of a single person who's gotten malaria, for example. There are a tiny handful of cases every year, and they tend to be among the indigenous people, or they are perhaps expats who are really into the jungle and they want to get out there and be in the middle of it. Fine. I think the key point is, if you really want to find something that's a danger to you or really make you sick, you can find it, just as you could find it in your own home territory if you wanted to. But you have to go find it. It isn't going to come after you. Certainly that's the case here. Once in a blue moon, something may happen to an individual expat, and I feel great sympathy for them, but that is so rare, and it's just such an exception that it causes a great deal of comment if it happens at all. As far as malaria is concerned, I haven't heard of anything. I do know some people's pet dogs have had some run-ins with some less than savory creatures in the rural areas, but they usually learn pretty quickly how to deal with that. Otherwise, there's an area of the country that's my favorite, and it's very rural, extremely rural. It's not that far from Panama City, it's very close, but it's extremely rural. It's a lake, it's beautiful land. And I've been working with a Panamanian family here who are interested in selling that land. It has like 2 miles of lakefront, and it's 240 acres, or about 100 hectares. It's big, needless to say. And of course, that makes it beyond the likely interest of any of you. So I'm not talking about that at the moment, but what I mean is that we go out to show the land to people. And we go over it by horseback, we do it by four-wheel drive, there are also roads that we travel. We take a boat out in the lake and move up and down. We're all over it. And it got some rainforest, if you want to call it jungle, you can, right alongside the property. There's lots of potential there, you might think, for problems, and we have yet to see a single snake, although rumor has it they are out there. I'm sure they're somewhere, but we haven't seen any. Haven't been bitten by a single mosquito during all the process of showing people the land. Haven't seen anything, for that matter, that really is makes us even a little bit nervous. And yet this is very rural land, despite its proximity to the city. And if we were to have problems like that, we'd be having them there, but we don't. So when I lived up in Maryland in the United States, which is just outside of Washington, D.C., I lived in very rural areas, right in the middle of the forest on a couple occasions, down by the water on a couple occasions, and near swamps and so forth. And Maryland has poisonous snakes. It has cottonmouths. It has the eastern rattlesnake, which is quite common. They say, I never saw one in all the years I was in Maryland. I never knew anybody who'd seen one, much less was bothered by one. So I doubt very seriously that people moving to Maryland are worried about snakes or anything else. And certainly when I was in Maryland, I was bitten by mosquitoes a lot more often than I ever have been here in Panama. So I would just put it that way. I consider that the probability of my having a problem here in Panama with any little beastie that comes along is no better, no worse than it would have been in Maryland, and it's probably a little less likely here. So it is not a problem that you need to overly concern yourself with. if you want to go to a place that has nothing along these lines and you have nothing to worry about, it's going to be cold and you're going to have a lot of ice around you. So if you're looking anywhere else, whether it's the temperate climate or the tropical climates, Panama is not one place where you're going to have to worry about it. So if that's what's stopping you from coming down and taking a look at Panama, you're probably better off not going anywhere, because it's the same everywhere. People seem to think that because of the stories of malaria during the building of the canal and so forth, that Panama is especially susceptible to this. But the fact of the matter is that very Panama Canal construction period was when they made the discovery of the connection between the mosquito and malaria and yellow fever and dengue, all of which were problems here in Panama. And once they made that connection, they took immediate action to destroy the breeding grounds for the mosquito, and they've never stopped since then. So Panamanians have had the longest history of controlling the mosquito population of anybody on planet Earth, and they know how to do it, and they just take care of it. It's been taken care of for very, very long time. As a result, we don't have to sit around and worry about it, and neither do you. So feel free to come on down. I'm sorry we don't have any boa constrictors handy to show you. They definitely stay far away from human populations. We're pretty dull and boring down here when it comes to that sort of activity. But if you really want to find some, I'm sure we can find people who can take you out. Otherwise, come on down. Thank you.